What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. Today I've got some more Entitled Parents stories which you're gonna love. My stepbrother, who is about to have a second child, felt he had the right to comment on how wasteful it is for me to have pets. I did not want to run into him. I managed to avoid my stepbrother and his wife for about a year, but I did yesterday afternoon. I was at my dad's place to drop off a few things he had needed. That's when my stepbro and his wife walked in. They had recently announced that they're having another baby. I had sent them a text congratulating them, but apparently that wasn't enough, and they had whined to my dad about how I wasn't enthusiastic enough. When I saw them yesterday, our interaction began cordially enough. I asked how my sister-in-law was doing, etc. Then my dad asked me to stay for dinner. I declined as I had to take my dog to the vet. He has a temperature. I mentioned that I had taken the day off from work to deliver my dad's things and to take care of my dog. My stepbrother scoffed at this and commented that it's dumb to spend money on an animal that they can self-heal. And in this day and age, it's just wasteful to keep pets because there's such scarcity in this world. Now I know that he and my sister-in-law are planning to have 4 kids because they've mentioned it many times, but I've never commented on it. So I fail to understand why he had the right to comment negatively on me having and caring for pets, something that doesn't have nearly as much environmental impact as having multiple biological children. So I snapped back, well, if you're so worried about scarcity of resources, why the heck are you creating another human being? Why would you add to the world's overpopulation? Take a long hard look at your own actions before commenting on what I'm doing with my life. Then I stormed out. Apparently, I'm the villain of this story because my sister-in-law cried her eyes out after I left. And my phone has been bombarded with messages from my dad, my stepbrother, and even my sister-in-law's sister, whom I simply told to go F herself in so many words. I've decided to ignore the messages from my dad and stepbrother. I don't think I'll be speaking to my stepbrother or my sister-in-law for a very long time. Possibly for years. I'll stay in touch with my dad, but only to make sure he's okay. I just needed to vent. Thank you for reading. Wow, you're doing the right thing to keep these toxic people at a distance. I'm sorry that you had to go through that, OP. Your dog is so lucky to have you. You seem like the best dog mum ever. I can't wait for when your stepbro has a huge family with 4 kids and maybe is struggling for money and comes to you saying, please help me out. And then you just turn around and say, sorry, I've got too many pets to pay for. Now for our second story. Entitled mother locked a public playground so her kids could play in peace. So I've posted a couple times here, and so far they've all been about the variety of Karen I meet at my workplace, but today something happened in my neighborhood that I think deserves its own story. So just down the road from my house is a decent sized playground with a 2 to 3 foot fence over it, meaning smaller kids have to use the gate, where older and bigger ones are able to climb over as long as they get a leg up. It's only got vertical bars, meaning no footholds, and the top is all thin prongs, meaning you can really rest your hands on it without getting stabbed. Anyway, the park is very popular with the children in the area and is always very crowded and busy, but that just makes it more fun, as it means they can make more friends. Recently, however, I've been hearing about a particular family who have been rather rude and tend to push away other people when they use the park. There's an entitled mum, an entitled dad, and 2 entitled kids, K1 and K2, who are both boys, and I don't know nor do I care how old they are. And I hadn't met any of them until today. Thursdays are the days I get to see my niece and nephew, and I cherish them. I don't have kids of my own, but if they turned out like my niece and nephew, then I would be an extremely happy dad. Anyway, today they both decided that they wanted to go to the playground and play on the swings, and I could always use the fresh air, so I took them down. Straight away, I noticed the playground, I'm going to refer to it as the PG from now on because I'm sick of typing playground, was very empty, and there were only 2 kids on there, so I went over and left my niece and nephew to run over to the park while I walked there myself. I saw they were having some issues getting the gate open. The gate has a sliding lock so it doesn't swing open in the wind, but I knew they were both capable of opening it, so I was curious if they were just messing around. As I got closer, I saw that someone had put a padlock on the gate to stop it being opened, and straight away I assumed it was one of the 2 kids on the park who just so happened to be K1 and K2. I asked them to come and open the gate so that we could come in, but they told me they didn't have it on them and that we needed to go away. I scoffed and lifted my niece and nephew over the fence and into the park, and they both ran off to the swings. I stayed outside because there was no way I was climbing over the fence in skinny jeans. I couldn't even bend down properly. After around 20 minutes of watching the children playing, I got a text from my sister saying that dinner was ready and that we needed to go back and eat, so I called over my niece and nephew to come to the fence so I could lift them over to go home. And I couldn't do it. They were both both too heavy to get a proper grip and lift up. I asked K1 and K2 if they knew who put the lock on the gate, and they once again were of no help. I explained that if they didn't tell me who locked the gate, then they would probably be stuck here because I can't go and fetch them to open it. They laughed and then proceeded to climb over the fence as a pair and then ran over to one of the houses up the road. I wanted to follow them to potentially ask their parents, but I couldn't leave my niece and nephew alone, so I called my sister. This is how I explained it. Hey sis, I need your help. You didn't lose the kids, did you? No, come down to the playground please, I'll explain when you get here. Just tell me now, I'm not coming all the way over there for nothing. What's going on? The kids are stuck in the park, I need your help getting them over the fence. I can't climb in and I can't lift them out. Use the gate? Someone locked it, there's a big padlock on it. What? I'll be there in a few minutes, hold on. Click. Once I'd hung up, I looked back towards the house that K1 and K2 ran to, and I saw them coming back, parents in tow. I assumed they were coming to help. Boy, was I wrong. All four of them walked up to me, and I immediately got an earful before I could even speak. My children were using this park. How dare you come over and disturb them? Then you threatened to lock my kids here all night? You're lucky we haven't called the police. I'm sorry, this is a public playground. I just asked if your sons knew who locked the gate. I did. What is it to you? Well, can you unlock it? I'm almost certain you're not allowed to do this. The entitled dad proceeds to unlock the gate and let my niece and nephew out, only for him to go right back to locking it. We lock it so our kids can enjoy it without any bratty children coming over and disturbing them. Now, we would appreciate it if you stayed off the playground from now on. I knew this wasn't worth my time and there wasn't a lot I could do, so I took my niece and nephew home and that was that. We didn't go back, but I'm going to go back tomorrow and see if it's still locked or not. I'll post an edit when I know. Yo, not gonna lie, OP, you should notify the police on this one. Like, that is seriously hazardous when small children can't leave the park themselves. Imagine if they got locked in and their parents didn't realize. That would be terrible. I mean, you don't really want to have to spend the money, but hey, you could always buy some bolt cutters to just deal with this problem in future. Like, if you just keep cutting their locks, they can't really call the police on you, can they? Now for our final story, get ready for this title. Meow Meow Meow, entitled Meow? Yeah, this is gonna be a weird one. My mother-in-law was an awful entitled mum. Her and her daughter used to try everything they could to make me freak out. I never gave her the satisfaction of yelling at her or arguing with her, but my sister is not one to back down from someone acting like a spoiled toddler. Also, my sister has a very unconventional way of dealing with crazy folks. One day, my sister had come over to my house. We were watching TV with our kids, so that meant Sesame Street, The Electric Company, and Mr. Rogers. All great shows, by the way. There was one hand puppy kitty cat on Mr. Rogers that would meow while saying something. For instance, it would say, meow, 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 friend, meow, when it was asking someone to be its friend. For some odd reason, this hit us both as hilarious, and we began doing this to the kids, like asking, meow, 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 hungry, meow? We kept it up all afternoon just being silly. The kids loved it. Later, after dinner, I went to drive my sister home. She wanted to stop for a soda on the way to her house, so we did. To my dismay, my mother-in-law was in the convenience store where we stopped. This woman immediately started being awful to me. She said, oh my god, why are you out so late? It was 9 p.m. What are you even doing here? Does my son know where you are? Are you buying alcohol? We were each holding a soda. Does my son know you are out buying alcohol? She knew I never drank. Are you going to drive while in that shape? Where are my grandkids? Lord, this woman was exhausting. Before I could even open my mouth to answer, my sister stepped up and said to her, meow, 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 stupid, meow? My mother-in-law stared at her for a few seconds before stammering, whoa, what? To which my sister said, meow, 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 female dog, meow. At this point, several other people near us started snickering. Without any word, my mother-in-law turned on her heels and stomped out of the store. I hadn't said a single word to her. I hadn't really gotten the chance. I took my sister and nephew home after that. My nephew had been off looking at the candy bars in the store and had missed it all. By the time I'd gotten home, my mother-in-law had called my hubby, pre-cell phone days, and had told him my sister and I had been drunk in public and were also rude to her. He knew better though, so he asked me what had really happened. He laughed so hard after I told him that he had tears in his eyes. To this day, my husband and his brothers will say, meow, 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 female dog, meow, to anyone being unreasonable. Wow, this is an absolute masterpiece. I wasn't sure about the title, but it makes so much sense now. I don't think I've ever seen one sentence have so much of an effect on a conversation. Your mother-in-law was so confused confused. To be fair, I would be as well. It's quite a weird thing to hear someone say meow, 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 female dog meow. Anyway, way to shut her up and teach her a lesson. So guys, that is going to be it for this episode of Entitled Parents. I really hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, drop a like on this video, comment meow, meow, meow down below, and subscribe for daily Reddit videos on my channel. If you want more immediately, check out the playlist on screen, and if not, I will see you all tomorrow with a brand new upload.